We got buffs coming to Wolverine, and we got 2 nerfs coming to Hela and Hawkeye. It's been an actual crazy day, guys. We got big news, buffs and nerfs to characters, new maps and new characters, as well as a ton more like ranked new additions. Marvel Rivals Season 0 comes to an end on January 10th this week when we kick off Season 1 finally, where Dracula will be taking over New York and 2 members from the Fantastic Four will be joining the roster. We have the leaked moveset of the characters that have been available for quite some time, but tomorrow, Emeru and XQC will both be showing off the 2 new characters around 5 p.m. Eastern time on their Twitch channels, which is a great turnaround time. I might tune in myself live to get a good look at it, and you guys should as well. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any of that and help raise that 38% even higher. First things first, we got to talk about the buffs and nerfs. The full details will be present later, they said, but to start things off, Hawkeye and Hela are both officially receiving nerfs, so they can stop decimating people and be tuned down just a bit, to be more in line with the other range specialists, as the devs have said. Now, when it comes to the buffs, Wolverine, Storm, and Cloak and Dagger will all be receiving buffs to further help them out with their playstyle. Not too sure exactly on what that means, but I hope in Wolverine's case at least, his vertical hitbox, especially the lower part of it, when it comes to his dive that is tweaked a little bit more to be consistent. Sometimes it's kind of impossible to grab people that he's straight up on, like he's actually inside of them. So having that being fixed to be more consistent, I think is probably all the character really needs at this point. Storm's going to be receiving some love too, which is also good, as well as Cloak and Dagger. Venom and Captain America are both receiving movement buffs specifically, which is cool. I was kind of hoping Cap would be able to throw his shield a bit faster off a cooldown, but I mean, that's something that I hope they eventually add in. They did say there will be more details and stuff to look out for on the official site when these patch notes do go live, and I think that will be the day before Season 1 launches, so looking forward to that on either January 9th or early January 10th. They also mentioned, they didn't say specifically this was a nerf, but more so a fix. When it comes to Jeff the Shark, he actually has a weird bug with his ult not really showing the range at which it reaches. It actually shows that it's a smaller range but reaches way further. They said they're going to be adjusting that and fixing that, because I get hit by that all the time. I swear I'm outside of the circle, but I'm still getting eaten, and I'm sure that's a lot of people are experiencing the same thing too. So that's one thing that they said that they'll be adjusting, which is great. Now, whether or not they're going to be making that smaller or just making the circle bigger, I have no idea, but they didn't say it was a nerf or a buff, so I think they're just going to be making the circle technically match the bigger hitbox. Season 1 is going to have 3 new maps: Sanctum Sanctorum, which is tied to a new game mode it seems, Central Park, and Midtown. Season 1 will also last 3 months long, but the bad news is, and also I gotta say expected news, is that Season 1 will be divided into 2 halves. Part 1 of this drop will be January 10th, and will come with the first 2 characters, Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman, while we have to wait 6 to 7 weeks for Part 2 to drop, which will have Human Torch and The Thing, and 1 other map. Big rip, Human Torch and Thing fans. Mr. Fantastic is a duelist character, and Invisible Woman is a strategist. According to the leaks, Mr. Fantastic's kit has been described as his ultimate being Brainiac Bounce. He's gonna leap and smash, knocking back enemies within range. Upon hitting an enemy, you can leap again up to 6 times. In a way, I like to think Mr. Fantastic was hella inspired by Bucky himself and will be jumping again and again and again. I was kind of hoping Mr. Fantastic would also be a Vanguard. I kind of would like to have more tanks and more strategists within the game. Pretty easy to see that The Thing was going to be a tank Vanguard character, but hopefully we do eventually get a season where we get multiple of those jobs coming in hot. His left shift is going to be reflexive rubber. Stretch his body to absorb damage before launching stored damage in the targeted direction, so he'll be able to eat a lot of projectiles and direct it back to the enemy, which is a classic move that this character has always done. And he has flexible elongation, which is his E. He's going to be selecting a target and dashing at it, dealing damage to enemies and granting bonus health to allies. Okay, so he's got some healing capabilities as well. That's quite interesting. That alone is very valuable, and seeing as how the meta is generally running 2 strategists on a team, if somebody's also running Mr. Fantastic, they'll be looking to do some off heals side by side to kind of help out and alleviate the backline when it comes to this stuff. I don't know how tanky he'll be himself, but I do like to see stuff like this. He might be a duelist character that I'll be picking up on day 1. His right click is going to be rubber grip, extending his arms forward to entangle and hit enemies. Then you press left click to select and yank 2 more enemies. What? Bro, CC hell over here. That's gotta have a decent cooldown, I gotta imagine. extending your arms forward to entangle enemies that you hit with it, and then you can press your left click to select and yank 2 more enemies. That's kind of nutty. And depending on how that actually functions, I doubt it will stun enemies. It'll probably just hold them in place and delay them for like half a second. Maybe it'll interrupt a move if they're trying to do it. I could see him absolutely triggering other people and myself when it comes to interrupting our ults. And his passive is Elastic Strength. His skills generate elasticity, boosting attack power. Reaching full elasticity triggers an inflated state that restores health and boosts even more damage. Overall, a very useful passive that you're going to want to keep topped off at all times. And his basic attack, which is his left click, stretch out a forward punch to attack and hit enemies. Probably working. What I'm envisioning is kind of like what Venom does, the little pokey pokes. Now again, remember, all of this stuff is alleged, but some of these leaks have actually very convincingly come true. And now we're going to talk about Invisible Woman. Her primary fire is going to be healing or dealing damage. She's going to have a wide shield that grants a large front-facing shield to a teammate. I wonder how that's also going to work alongside Magneto. They Magneto and Susan both shield a teammate back to back of each other, keeping them alive. I think that'd be kind of cool. Then she has Knockback Tunnel, creates a pathway with knockback effects, so some great CC over there, pushing people away. Gravity Bomb applies damage over time and crowd control. Now, they're not too specific on crowd control. It could mean she holds them in place or she pulls them. You know, this gravity bomb, right? So you think of gravity, it's gonna be pulling people. I think she'll throw a gravity bomb on the ground and it will pull enemies into it. And she has her ultimate, which will deploy a wide healing ring at a chosen location. So pretty much how Mantis and Luna Snow's ults function, except those are attached to the character, so they can, it depends on where they're moving. It looks like Susan's gonna have to pick a spot and drop it there. And if you're within that ring, you get healed. It's not going to be attached to her character, at least reading the wording from there. And she's also going to have a double jump, which is great. Now, you notice one crazy thing here is no passives are mentioned. And also, why doesn't Invisible Woman have any invisibility to her kit, right? Obviously, they want you to see her cheeks, guys. They're doing you all a solid right there. But apparently, according to a 404 leak, he said, yes, she actually can go invisible. I just forgot. This dude's been pretty reliable for the most part on a lot of stuff. So I wonder exactly what does he mean he just forgot. Is that going to be the passive? I don't know. But don't worry, guys. Tomorrow we're going to get a full look at it across multiple streams, actually. So we're going to be joining Emaru and XQC as they're going to be playing through Marvel Rivals as Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. And they also list a bunch of other streams to check out as well. So I feel like all of them are going to be playing as them. We'll be able to jump through and see exactly how these characters play, what their moves are looking like, and how they're going to function. And also confirm whether or not that move list is actually real. And that is tomorrow, January 7th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. Now, the Midtown map is going to be dropping as well on January 10th and is a convoy map, and a whole new game mode as well is going to be coming. It's called Doom Match, which takes place in the Sanctum Sectorum. Doom Match is described as a new game mode where 8 to 12 players will battle on a single map, each belonging to a different faction, with all factions being hostile to each other. Players will earn points by knocking out enemies, and at the end of the match, the top 50% of the players by default will be considered the winning side. They also describe the map as obviously Sanctum Sanctorum is going to be filled with portals and wildly changing scales as far as the stage goes. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this game mode plays and how it functions alongside that map specifically. But that also means that the next map, Central Park, is not going to be appearing until part 2 when Human Torch and The Thing eventually drop. So we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but remember they said 6 to 7 weeks on that. The new battle pass for this season will have 10 new costumes and apparently double the amount of content in general that was in the season 0 pass, which naturally that was like an introductory pass. So I would hope that would be the case, but according to the devs, that very much is. Also, one thing to note, in quick play, the season stats for PC and console players will be combined, but in competitive, the stats will be individual, just like how the game mode is, from console to PC, continuing to separate the two. And season 0 stats will be reset when season 1 starts. So if you're at Grandmaster or higher, as soon as season 1 starts on the 10th, it'll be reset back to Silver 2, apparently. They've also introduced a new major rank, Celestial, which will be arriving to rank, and it'll be taking place after you pass Grandmaster and just before Eternity. Basically increasing the grind even further. I don't think they anticipated as many players to get as high as they did in such a short amount of time. So that, unfortunately, is being tweaked. They also thank us for the ongoing feedback and analysis. A number of hero adjustments will be continuing to be made, and they want us to continue tagging them and letting them know when things are not working as intended when it comes to this game. Seriously, guys, I'm super excited for season 1 to finally start. I was incredibly busy when it came to December when the game launched, and I was so tied up with things like my wedding and traveling and stuff. So now we're back home officially and can continue grinding Marvel Rivals. I can finally play ranked. The boys stuck in bronze. I haven't even played. I probably played like 3 games so far in competitive. But also, I'm looking forward to season 1 to drop. And adding Invisible Woman to my characters played and finally picking up a strategist. In all honesty, I did pick up Mantis recently and I'm really digging her kit and I'm going to try to get better with her. But leave it in this game to make your boy actually want to play healers. It's never been within my playstyle, but I'm happy to finally be turning over a new leaf for it. Sound off in the comments below. Are you guys excited for season 1? What are you most looking forward to? Did your character get buffed or nerfed? I want to hear what you guys think. Let's get a discussion going. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Marvel Rivals videos are on the way and you don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ and thanks for watching.